Nation. Welcome to another episode of Believe in Tennessee Football. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerberson with Reed Bacon. We are at Reed's house in Knoxville after watching a practice with Tennessee. It's the 14th today of August, so this is a little bit of backlog, but we're breaking down the entire offense on this podcast. Who are the starters? Who's playing where? Who's the best people we got out in the field? What positions we're worried and what positions we're not worried about? And the biggest question of all, who's quarterback one? So, going to be a great podcast. Going to give you guys a lot of information. And let's jump into it.
By the game. Snap. The kick is in the air, and the kick this time is no, sir-ree. No, sir-ree. Final score, Tennessee 20, Florida 17. Pandemonium reigns.
Loads up, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee. Tennessee wins! Caught it by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
Down to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. What did he do? All he did was score. Joey Pence, touchdown on play number 1.
All right, so before we jump into the podcast, got to shout out our presenting sponsor, as always, betonline.ag. You know it. I've said it every podcast. It's the place to go for any of your betting on any sport, anything out there. They got all the news, the stats, the odds that you were looking for. Heck, they got stuff on gold medal things that are going on in the Olympics, baseball that's in full swing, golf, everything. So if you're looking to bet on anything, that's the place to go. So you sign up online or use your mobile device and get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So that's betonline.ag. So before the next tip-off, face-off, or pitch, head on over to betonline.ag today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, got to shout out a new sponsor. Balance 7. So it is a pH balancing alkaline supplement that just helps boost your energy, helps keep you hydrated, all that kind of stuff. It's something that you can really use when you're working out, when you're trying to get healthy. So it's perfect. It's awesome. So cool thing is we've got a promotion running with Balance 7 right now, where if you go to their website, balance7.com, and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout, you'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. That product retails for $13.99, so I'd say it's worth it. Again, head to balance7.com and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout and get in on the promotion. I know I will. All right, welcome in, everybody. Got another great one here. Doing the offensive side of the ball now. We just got done with a Tennessee practice, and we just did defense, put that out. Now the exciting part. Offensive side of the ball. What everybody wants to know, obviously, is quarterback position, who's landing where. Is there anything you want to touch on first before we get into a position by position?
Yeah, we'll just touch on, so we're literally the exact same spot. If you did not watch the defense, we are still at my house.
Yes.
We literally finished recording. I got a water, went to the bathroom. Kyler did some technical stuff. We both looked at our phones for a few minutes. I stepped outside, called my girlfriend, just kind of meandered around, and now we're here. So this is exactly where we were all sitting. I'm in I think this is like my great-great-grandfather's chair, so we're still in the same spot. Haven't showered yet.
No, it was sweating like crazy.
Yeah, it was hot. It was a hot one at practice today, but like I said, like we said on defense, it was a blast. We love being out there. Let's wait and do quarterback last.
Okay. Keep them on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, exactly. Keep them on the edge of their seats. So I will say as a tease, if you didn't listen to defense, we definitely have a feeling of who we think is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yes.
Let's go O-line. Let's just start with O-line.
Okay.
That's all you care about. That's all you basically. That's all you basically watch at practice.
Yeah.
And so let's just dive right into the big uglies up front.
All right. Yeah. So one thing that I was noticing, there was bad, talks coming out of the scrimmage, saying the O-line didn't perform well, they didn't do well. And so when I'm there, I'm really trying to understand, okay, what happened? What was going on? Why weren't they performing well? Why did the defensive line do so well? And I think it's just being cohesive together, just understanding what the other person next to you needs and stuff like that, because this is a different lineup than what we saw in the spring. They're still rotating guys in as we're at practice. So I think that, working together, understanding, any offensive lineman could like something a little bit more than another. And playing next to him, you come to understand, this is how much help he can give me on this play. This is how much help he'll do on this play. And those little nuances can really, really help when it comes to an actual gameplay, an actual just situational awareness. So I think that's part of it. Because honestly, man, when I watch some of our guys, they are freaking ballers. I've been watching Cade forever, and he is a great athlete, understands technique very well. Darnell Wright, there's a reason why he came out of high school, just so highly touted. He's a huge individual. He has good frame about him. He stays square in his pass protection. He's a big body, so he can move guys out of the way. And then our guards in Carvin and Spraggins are great. Honestly, they're our best offensive linemen. Out of everyone we have, Carvin and Spraggin, I would put Carvin number one for sure. Just the way he practices, the amount of effort he puts in. He was dominating dudes out there. And not necessarily in team drills. It's a lot harder to see during the team drill. But individual drills, if it's a one-on-one pass pro, if it was one-on-one just effort run blocking, if it was half line where it was just, center over and they're doing combo blocks and stuff he was the best player out there on the offensive line. And I necessarily didn't see that in the spring. I don't know if it's just confidence, if it's him starting to understand his game and the way he plays and, what he needs to do to be in the right mindset. But, man, I was freaking impressed. I really, really was. And that's not to say anything about Spraggins either. Spraggins impressed me too, and he is the most vocal guy on the offensive line, which I love. Just, hey, good job to every single guy that goes up there supporting third string guys. Just being a vocal leader, because you're not going to get that out of Cade, and you're not going to get that out of Darnell. And Cooper, probably not going to get that out of him either.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. But they're just Darnell and Cade themselves are not vocal leaders at all. They're never going to be the one to say something.
Right.
They're to themselves, maybe lead by example, but that's just not who they are.
We left practice, once again, I feel like I always have to preference stuff, so I apologize to listeners if I do it all the time. This is one practice we get to see. We saw it at spring, we see now. We both looked at each other and we loved what Carvin and Spraggins were doing. We loved it. Now maybe that's just us looking at it as we would want to play with those type of guys, or we would want to coach those type of guys. And we want that in our team. Now, does that mean that they are the best guards out there? Well, no, but we want to ride with those guys. We love that crap.
Yeah.
They, like you said, everything they were doing was great. Their performance was good. Their attitude was good. Their energy was good. Their support for others was great. And I hope people caught what you said. Like, Spraggins and Carvin were our best offensive linemen. They're definitely not the most talented.
No.
I mean, but you didn't say Darnell Wright, and you didn't say Cade Mays. And we love, I mean, like, for Cooper and Cade, you know them because you coach them at Catholic. Mm-hmm. Not telling anybody, if you guys have listened to any of these other podcasts, especially the last one or any of them, I'm a huge Catholic, Knoxville Catholic homer. That's where I went. Obviously, that's where Kyla went. And so we take pride in those guys that come from there. And we want Cooper and Cade to be great and do great. And I think for Cade, he has every physical trait. I remember talking with you on the phone one time when he was in high school and hearing some things that I wasn't pumped about. Mm-hmm. And you're like, dude, the kid's a freak. Like, he's like 15, 16 years old, and like, he's just a freak. Like, the size and strength in his hands and his feet. And now it's just like, we want him to be great, and we want him to work and push himself like Spraggins and Carvin or like other guys. Not to mean that he's not going to be good or be fine, but we just I think it's a great way for us to put it. We've been saying it a couple times on these past 2 pods, but it leaves a little bit more left to be desired.
Yeah.
And that's the best way I'll put it. And I think maybe some of it has to do with they're playing Cade at right tackle right now, and he probably wants to, well, not probably, we know for a fact he wants to play guard.
Yeah, he makes everyone know that.
Yeah, but it's like, unfortunately, and for his sake, I wish he could play guard, and he's going to get a chance in the NFL because he's just so God-given and talent and everything. But sometimes if the coaches don't think that's the best, like, they need you to help the team, and you're on the team, and so we need you to be a team player. But offensive line, like, I felt like leaving spring, I was like, okay, I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
Obviously, you take a big body out of there in Calbert, who we talked about last podcast, so he's not out there right now. And so one big body out of a group, you feel like it kind of stinks just for depth purposes. But everyone's talking about Darnell Wright. Yes, he has lost weight. He does look good. I didn't tell Cades that he's lost a bunch of weight. Like, people say he's lost 15, 20 pounds. I didn't really notice it with him. Maybe like I noticed it with Darnell Wright.
Well, I mean, 325 to 310, you can't really notice that much. Like, that's 15 pounds. But when you're that heavy, it's like, what? Did anything happen?
Right.
I mean,
but what I'm saying is I could see something with Darnell Wright.
Yes.
And so, I could just tell a difference. And we were hoping Dane Davis was going to get a chance to start at left tackle or right tackle, or I guess right, just because then that would put Cooper inside or Cade inside. Doesn't look like that's necessarily going to be the case right now, that they're going to go probably with Cade and Darnell as our tackles. And then they want Cooper to play center, but it's the same thing I've always been worried about since he was at Catholic. Like, he's just smaller. If he was Cade's size, it'd be incredible, because I love his nastiness, how he competes, how he works hard, reps Tennessee. Mm-hmm. But he's just a little light in the britches. It's not his fault.
No.
So I think maybe they're trying some other options that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to. They're still rotating different options in there, and I think that's why. But what Coop has going for him is his smarts. Mm-hmm. Like, knowing the offense, knowing the blocking scheme, knowing what's going on, knowing how to put people in the right place. That is more what the game is about than the physical attributes. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why Brandon Kennedy, who was the transfer from Alabama, started and played for us for a long time. He was smarter, but like, I was never impressed with his physical abilities when he played. I really didn't think he was blocking very well. I thought he got pushed around a lot, but I think it was just like, he can get our guys on the same page. Mm-hmm.
As long as you just hold your own, basically.
Yeah, just hold your own.
Don't end up in the quarterback's lap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a battle for Coop just because that's his body type of just gaining weight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, man, if he can get in the 300s, I mean, I feel like I have no idea what the roster says, but, I mean, he looks 290.
Yeah.
Like, he looks under 3. But, I mean, if he can get to, like, 305, I mean, really get his strength up.
And he's still a young cat.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still
he's
young.
a second-year guy.
Yeah, so
it's...
Hell, last year he's playing tight end.
Yeah, 93. So I mean, I definitely see a bright future for Cooper.
Yeah, we both love Coop, and so for his sake, I wish he was a little bit bigger. But I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, they got him listed 6'3", 295. Like,
yeah, I mean, after practice, he's probably 285.
Yeah, sweating out there. But yeah, I love the guards. I loved how they competed and played, and that's what you want, man. You want some nasty boys, and you want them to be pulling up to those second levels and, being nasty to these linebackers. So, once again, I thought there were some one-on-one drills, and I thought there were some of those, like, I guess I'll call them 2-on-2.
Yeah.
With offensive line, defensive line, and we saw one, and it was, I think, maybe like Tyler Barron and I forget the D tackle, and they were going up against Cade, and Cade was at right tackle, and then I forget who was in at left guard, but they tried to run a stunt, and Cade, so he's very naturally gifted, and he did a great job, and so did the guard, and they picked it up perfectly, and it looked great. And so there's times during one-on-ones they all did well. And there's sometimes one-on-ones they got maybe beat. I guess you told me the guards, you felt like they didn't get beat once.
No.
Yeah.
Carvin was locking dudes down.
Yeah.
I mean, no one beat him during one-on-one pass at all.
Right.
And then I think Darnell got beat once. Cade pretty much got beat once, wasn't able to push the edge. But, like, did not see that at Carvin, did not see it get beat on Spraggins either. So it's just like, and one-on-ones are so different. Like, it is so against the offensive line. Like, it is such a drill meant for defensive line. Like, defensive line is supposed to win more times than not.
Right.
So if you're able to lock them down, it's just, it is impressive. And I thought they did a great job. And like you said, that like they had those drills of, like 2-on-2 pass rush. They also had drills of 2-on-2 like run, and some of that stuff impressed me too. Just like getting pad level, the drive. There was literally a drill that started practice where it was just effort. It had nothing to do with like a down block, an inside zone, a outside zone, like where you're getting your leverage. It was all just who's pushing who. That's all it was.
They were just man versus man.
Man versus man.
You said, what's the point of this drill? And who was that said something?
Dane Davis.
No, there was someone else that was left to you that said something. He was like, he was down on a knee, and he was just like.
Now, I can't remember who it was, but that's what he told me. He was like, it's just an effort drill. It's just literally who can push who.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I like that. That's the first thing they did to start practice.
It's a nice warm-up.
Yes, exactly.
Nice warm-up. So...
you don't have to think about anything while you're doing it either. It's just all effort. So really you can see a lot about who's who when you see them doing that stuff. Like, okay, are you giving effort? Because there's no mental breakdown here.
Right.
Like you don't have to think about a play. So it's literally just you versus you in your head. Am I pushing through this, knowing that I have 2 hours of practice ahead of me? Mm-hmm. And light shines through on who cares and who doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I enjoyed watching that one. I guess I watched that drill and then the 2-on-2 pass set. I did not see the 2-on-2 run.
Yeah.
If our most talented offensive line can play and compete like some of the other offensive line, then we should be in good shape.
Yes.
And also, most importantly, like you always say, they got to play well together.
Yes.
And so, for me, overall offensive line was pretty much about the same since spring practice. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel better or worse? Because obviously it looks like I know you were saying that you really thought Dane Davis was going to get a chance at tackle.
I did. I wanted Cade to play guard because I know he's more comfortable there, and I know that his attributes and his skill set work better for him at guard than it does at tackle. If that makes sense to everyone. It's just like his body, his athleticism gives him more of an advantage while he's at the guard position than while he's at tackle, which was the same for me. Like my body, the way I was, my build, my skill set gave me more an advantage at guard than it did at tackle. I have short arms for my size. I'm not lanky at all. I'm more stout than I am like thin and tall and long. So it's just like that would have been better. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I just think and that's not to say that Dane's a bad player. I don't think there's a big drop off when it comes to Dane and Darnell and Cade. Like they're pretty close to each other. So,
which is a huge kudos to Dane.
Yeah, especially just being a walk on and just like figuring that shit out and just becoming better each year. And I don't think this means the door's closed for him. By any means.
No, he's still young too.
Yeah, and they're still competing until today's the 14th, so this is coming out in a week and a half. So we're gonna be closer to game day by then. But like he's still gonna be competing throughout this whole next 2 weeks until game day. So 2 to 3 weeks. But I feel good. I feel good about the offensive line. It's just like it always made me feel weird when people were like, "Oh, we're losing so many guys on the offensive line, Wanye Morris, and like we're gonna be awful." It's like, no, we're not. We still got a lot of freaking dogs out there and a lot of good players. That like I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but they are good players. They just got to be coached right. Like I do think that Will Friend did a disservice to the offensive line last year.
Ooh, buddy, there was someone there that we were talking with today who's. He worked,
He works there.
Yeah, he's part of the team, and he was not pumped with Will Friend. He basically said this guy did absolutely nothing for these group of guys.
Nothing. Like they have such a hill to climb because Will just wasn't there for him. So
well, basically when you go 3-7 or whatever we went last year, there's a lot of issues.
Well, and that's the thing too. There's a lot of issues everywhere, but. We had multiple guys like all SEC, freshmen all SEC.
I know.
And it was just like, oh yeah, we're going to be amazing. Bunch of 5 stars on the offensive line. Like, we're going to be great. And then it's not that.
Right.
So it's like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, exactly. What the heck happened? Where did it go? So, all right, so give me your – so you still feel really good about the offensive line, even after hearing how bad the scrimmage was for the offense as a whole and the offensive line, and then even during some of these team drills where I felt like the defensive line was kind of in the backfield a lot, you still feel good?
I still feel good because I trust their skill set, and I think it's just like a click, and it'll get together. Where it's like, okay, Spraggins knows he has to put a hand out to help Cade when he's on a slide, so Cade isn't left on an island versus a 3 technique. Like Coop knows that doesn't have enough weight in his ass, so he's got to position block this nose instead of trying to just blow him up out of the hole. It's just like little stuff like that, becoming more knowledgeable in the game and like understanding those nuances it can just make such a huge difference. And understanding who you're playing next to, what they like, what they need, how you pass off games with each other, which is like twists in pass protection, or how you work together in a double team up to a linebacker, trusting the guy next to you that he can get the job done for you. It's just that little stuff. And honestly, I feel like it is little stuff. Like it's not, all of our offensive linemen weigh 280 pounds and they're weak and they don't have good feet and they can't place their hands. That's not it. We got big dudes that are strong, that have really good feet, that know the game. We just got to get them connected. So that's what gives me hope is it's not that we have bad players out there or small guys out there, because that has happened in the past.
Right.
where it's just we just don't have big bodies, and like you're gonna get pushed around the SEC, and like it's not good. I mean, Cooper's the smallest one; he's 290.
Yeah.
But like Carvin, Spraggins, and Cade, and Darnell, and Dane, and all those guys are over 300 pounds.
Right.
So I think we're doing well as offensive line. There's always stuff to work on, but I still feel good about it.
Okay. Let's just hit on tight ends really quick.
Okay.
I felt like I watched a lot more tight end stuff during spring. I didn't see as much today at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no Austin Pope out there.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we even really touched on in any of the other all the other podcasts. And I just hate it for him. I mean, that kid is he's had some tough times in his life.
It always sucks when it's injury,
Yeah.
and it's just like there's really nothing you can do about it. It just happens.
Yep, and it's just tough, and I hate it for him. And because at spring practice, man, it looked like he was going to be. I'm not going to say like a vital or like key point, because I think there's a lot other options athletically and stuff. But I think maybe he could have a nice little key role.
Yeah,
Whether
I
it was blocking and
Fant was probably one. You know what I mean? Like main tight end.
Yeah, I might be the number one Princeton fan club number one guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just hate that for Austin, and it's tough. It's tough, and I'm bummed about that. But the rest of the tight ends, like I said, I'm excited for Princeton Fant. I think he can be a really good player. Jacob Warren, your boy, who came over again today, he's just a big kid, like tall.
It's huge.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Guess it was Campbell. I want to say it's. It was Miles. I was about to say Miles. So he's a freshman, good-looking kid, 6'3", 240. You can definitely still tell he's young though.
Yeah.
And so, but I think he could play in some stuff. That's two freshmen too, because Julian Nixon's on here, 6'3", 245. I thought both of those guys have good futures.
Yeah.
With UT, and I would say I wouldn't be surprised if they both like get some PT time. And the only reason I say that is because I don't really know how much they're going to be doing a bunch of different tight end stuff.
Yeah, I think it seems like the tight end stuff is going to be occasional routes, blocking for screens, and they're doing a lot of pulling from the backfield, is like H-back kind of stuff.
Correct. When
they're blocking.
Correct. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's obviously we don't have some guy that's, Kyle Pitts that's over there is going to be a first rounder, and none of those. I mean, I don't know if any of those guys are really going to be like, wow, just like change the game. But I'm not worried about them. I'll say that.
Yeah, and just like the thing about Kyle Pitts is, bro, like,
well,
I said this from last year, he's a receiver.
Well, I was just saying that, meaning we don't have a
standout tight end.
Correct. But I also don't think that it's like going to be some weak point. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm talking about them second, because I think it's pretty quick. It's like I said, I love Princeton Fant. The other two freshmen look fine and good, and so I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. You know what I mean?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
No.
So, okay,
no, not at all.
we'll jump into running backs.
Running backs, okay. So, first thing about running backs, Smalls. I think, we had talked about it a little bit on the defensive podcast and the pass pro stuff. Like, he is a smaller back, so it is tough for him. But, man, I watching him out there, seeing him hit the holes, seeing him find the creases, like, he's a dang good back. And I think he's our starter right now. And we said this before, that a lot of guys could rotate in, and I think they will, just because getting tired, being fresh, like just wanting them to, be okay throughout the game and not just like worn out. I think there'll be a lot of rotation. I think he's the starter. And I'm always so high on Evans, but I'll tell you, watching him and going through drills and not even like team stuff.
You talking about Tyon Evans?
Yes. He wasn't mentally locked in. He was missing, wait, which direction am I going? Wait, which foot am I stepping with? And I think that's why he probably won't start.
It was so funny. There was we were standing there watching. Actually, during that drill you were talking about where Evans maybe had a couple missteps. It was Evans, Wright, Small, Pierce, and we were just like, they all look like little carbon copies of each other.
Yeah, they're all exactly the same.
They're all just like the little squatty bodies. Obviously Jabari Small's not as thick as some of those guys, and I think he looks nice and swaggy with number 2. Yeah, it's just funny. It's kind of like we got a bunch of ragtag, kind of that smaller, lower level to the ground, and then there's D. Beckwith.
Yes.
So it's just kind of funny. But yeah, Jamar Small, I like how he runs. I like how Tyon Evans runs. I like how Wright runs. You could not have a name or a number on them, and I think they're all going to do, it would be hard to tell them apart.
Yeah.
Evans is definitely the thickest of the bunch of those.
For sure.
Sure. I'm excited to watch him run and see him get after it.
I think he probably has maybe the most talent out of that running back group.
Potentially.
Just potential talent. He's, got the intangibles that he needs. But, bro, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get to play.
Right.
So, just seeing that drill, I think I saw it in another drill where, the center quarterback exchange wasn't right. And just bro, you got to get that under control. You got to get that taken care of. There's no room for those dumb errors in a game.
Yeah. I'm going through here, kind of looking, and so everyone knows looking. I'm not just texting, but I've got the roster pulled up. Jalen Wright, so he's 23.
And then D, I love D Beckwith.
Antonio Malone's on here, so
he's a guy that might not be the main back, but when he gets in there, he runs hard. He runs over people. He's not the fastest out there, but he'll lay the damn wood.
Yeah, he's a large man.
Yeah, large human being. And you said it in the defensive podcast. He's a great pass protector.
He did fantastic.
Because he's so much bigger than everybody else.
Right.
He's I got this.
Right.
Easy money.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm scrolling through this, so we know different. It's so funny. I didn't even talk about Bryson Eason, and I feel bad now because, and they have him listed on here as a linebacker, 6'3", 290, but he was one of those guys going with the D-line with Byron Young, Roman Harrison, and some of those guys that were going to the D-line, and I thought he actually did have some nice practice. So, sorry, I feel bad leaving him out on defense, but I made a note and just forget. Like I said, we see so much. We want to tell everything in our heads and our brains.
Everything.
Yeah, and we just want to tell everybody what we see, but it's kind of hard. So I actually did think that he did pretty well on some defensive line stuff. Receivers, running backs, like I said, I'm fine with them. We don't have, once again, we don't maybe have a game changer that people are like, watch out for this kid at Tennessee and he could have a chance to, lead the SEC in rushing. We don't have that.
No.
And that's fine, but I'm totally fine with what we have. I feel very, very confident that those guys that I just mentioned, that they're going to hit the hole, they're going to, get us, make some plays, be very sufficient and be pretty good. And it's definitely going to be probably by committee. And so hopefully there's no injuries to anybody, but that's one of the groups that if someone had to go down, then I feel very comfortable that we're going to have someone behind them.
Yeah, and I think we were talking earlier about previous running backs we've had and the skill sets and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I could compare this to John Kelly, where it's he's a good player, he runs hard, he gives full effort,
good balance, good vision. He
wasn't the best running back in the SEC. He didn't win any awards. He wasn't he didn't get the most rushing yards of any Tennessee running back ever, or anything like that. But he was a solid back for us,
very solid.
And it was we had struggles because of offensive line play, because of quarterback play, because that stuff didn't work out. But he he was a very solid back, and I think these guys can be the same way. We're very solid backs. It's not like they're, blowing us away with anything. It's not like an AK or Hurd.
Or Jalen Hurd, yeah.
Or like a Montario Hardesty or something like that. But it's like a Neal, Rajon Neal. Mm-hmm. Or the guys that came after Kamara. And just like, it's still solid. It's not like we're just falling off the map.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, so that leaves two positions. It's basically the same thing we said in spring practice was we feel good about receivers. We feel good about running backs. We feel fine about tight ends.
Yeah. I'm excited for receivers.
I'm very excited about receivers. Unfortunately, today, I'm guessing that I haven't been at all the practices. This was my first practice that I've been at, but I'm assuming it was Jalen Hyatt's worst practice.
Yeah, it had to have been.
It had to be. He had 4 bad drops.
Yeah.
And these were in team period and 7-on-7, and they were good throws. They hit his hand. He straight up dropped them. I do not see that happening to this kid much this season.
No.
I think he is. I know he's a ball player. I think he's going to have a really good year. And I think he knows when it's time to make plays. Because people forget, you can practice all you want, but there's some people that are just ball players, and it's different when it's time to play.
Yeah, it just is.
It's like they just rise to the occasion a little bit more. I did notice, and I did make note of it pretty early on in practice, is Cedric Tillman's probably going to be a starter for us.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think people really talk about it, but it's I think it's going to be Velus Jones. Starters are so stupid to even say, though, for receivers.
That's what I was saying on the last pod. It's like they rotate so much and bring in so many different guys. It's what does starting really mean? Because guess what? The first play is going to be a run.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just who cares?
Yeah, so and I caught myself saying that, but I noticed it's obviously you got Jalen Hyatt, Velus Jones Jr., and then Cedric Tillman. Like I said, he's a big guy, big kid, good athlete. I like his hands. I think he plays well. And then, Walker Merrill, man, for a freshman, he's very impressive.
He's going to get legitimate playing time.
Yeah,
this year.
He was out there with a brace today, and I don't think he was as fast as usual that he is, but good hands, competes. Swaggy little athlete, gets in and out of his breaks, does what he needs. Kid's very good hands.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good comparison for him where people can oh, that's it.
Maybe Josh Smith.
Smith.
That's the easy one, but
I would even say he's a little more agile.
Maybe
I guess
savvy,
agile, but he's not necessarily as fast as a Zach Rogers.
Right.
Zach was a burner.
Yes,
way more.
He was almost like a track star.
Yeah, than you thought he would be.
Walker's not that.
But
not that speed.
Just as a freshman being out there is so impressive. I literally saw Jalen Hyatt walk up to Walker and be like, "Hey, what is this? What does that mean?" And "Oh yeah, what's that symbol? Okay, so it means this." And they're talking through it. So Walker, who just got there, is helping Jalen Hyatt understand. So he's a smart kid. He freaking knows the offense, which gets you on the field first, is knowing the offense.
They trust you, and that you're where you need to be, make the play, and you know what you're doing, you'll get on the field quick.
Yeah. It's, legitimate starting time this year. I see it.
Yeah.
And, he could really be just a good, reliable wide receiver for us moving forward, for a few years.
Yep. Javonte Payton. We haven't talked about him yet.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, I was very impressed. Good size, not great size, but good size, good athlete, good hands, good savvy. I was just impressed. I thought he did well. I thought anytime I saw him, he didn't have any bad drops or anything like that, but I thought he played well. And
when we were talking to Kevin, was it Tillman that he pointed out to us? Mm-hmm. So we were talking to Kevin Simon, and if you didn't know, he's part of the program now. But he was a scout for the Dallas Cowboys for 8 years. He did stuff with Atlanta after that, I think, for 2 years. So he was always looking at guys in college and can they make it to the NFL? Can they be, the next big guy in the NFL? And that's what he said. It was like, you really look at the body type first. Like, do you have the intangibles to be able to just be a part of a team and fit what the team needs? And he pointed out to me, he's like, look at him. Like, he's got the body for it. He's, 6'3". He's got long arms, long limbs. He can catch every ball. And he was doing drills after practice catching tennis balls. And he's like, you see how, like, soft his fingers are and how he's, like, grabbing the ball, not just let it come into him. Like, stuff like that makes a big difference. And, I mean, like you said, Tillman is not, like, the name that everyone yells out first. But, like, I mean, he could be a big-time weapon for us.
So you got Vilas, Hyatt, Merrill, Tillman, Peyton. Then even if we go to Ramel Keaton, which I guess I wasn't noticing as much because they didn't do one-on-ones against the DBs today, which when I saw Keaton in the spring, I was impressed. Addison Kobe was fine. And then they didn't have who did I point out to you at the beginning of practice? It was Jimmy Holiday. He didn't practice today.
Yeah.
So all three of those guys, like, I'm totally fine with them. And then our if I'm number one fan club from Person Fan, then I'm also number one fan club leader for Jack Jancic.
Yes.
And Jack still had a really nice play and catch, and I don't remember 7-on-7 or team, but I was impressed. But I like our receivers. I think they're very good, and I think they're all going to eat a little bit this year. I really do. In years past, it was like, we need a big play, like, all right, it's going to Callaway or Jennings.
Yeah.
Like, this year, I feel like a lot of people are going to step up in big moments. Like, Peyton might have a moment. Vilas Jones.
Honestly, it might help, too, because I think there were times in years past where JG was like, oh, it's going to Juwan. It's going to Callaway. And the defense knew that, too, and took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And they could take that away on third down, and it's like, oh, we're screwed. Because Garantano was just staring down Juwan.
Correct.
And, there were times where Juwan made plays on the ball, like went and go get it, because that's what he had to do. The DB knew he was getting it.
Right.
Now, we got enough guys out there that can ball. It's like, ball could go to anybody. Whoever's open, that's who the ball's going to. That's how it should always be.
Correct. And there's just no way for me not to feel comfortable until I watch these games on Thursday night. I was about to say on Saturdays, but
yes.
But Thursday night and Saturdays, and just like, I mean, if I can list 8 guys that I'm comfortable with at receiver, that's a pretty nice feeling.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for that group. I think they all work hard, and they're all very supportive, especially Vilas Jones. Definitely the grandpa of the group is very supportive and helpful, and tries to be there for these guys and stuff like that. So same thing. I'm sorry to maybe kind of repeat ourselves, but it's from the spring. But I feel good about receivers. I feel really good about running backs. You know what I mean?
It's just something not to worry about.
Yeah. And then, do I wish we had a couple bona fide first round draft picks out there? Yeah, I do. But we'll get there, and maybe some of these guys work their way into that. You never know. So receivers. Besides Hyatt, like I said, probably having his worst practice, I was still very impressed with him, even with 4 drops.
Yeah.
So, and I don't expect that on Saturdays. I think he's going to be a big time stud for us.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I guess that leaves it to it.
It's the quarterback.
It's what everyone wants to know. I'll just start by saying that I guess we were kind of both. Well, we were definitely both wrong.
Because we thought Maurer in the spring.
Well, and I'm not saying that we were not sitting there saying it's 100% Maurer and that's who it's going to be and all this. Like, we just said we felt like it was his job to lose. It was his team to lose.
Yep.
And that was a lot because of him being vocal.
His attitude.
And trying to be a good leader and a good guy and trying to just be the quarterback and be that leader.
Yeah.
And I guess he was trying that, but like your play has to represent it. And to start, obviously Maurer was not at practice today. Everyone already knows that. All the, media people have already like put that out there and stuff like that. But, first and foremost for him, I hope it works out for him wherever he goes, because I really respect, from outsider looking in, I respect that he stayed here when all the turmoil and didn't try to just transfer and leave. Now, granted, I could say that, and people are like, well, of course he didn't transfer. He thought he was going to maybe be a starter for the University of Tennessee.
Because now he possibly might be transferring.
Correct. And so I just, I'm not going to talk about it much longer, but I just hope the best for him, and I do appreciate his effort, his fight, and what he did for Tennessee. Because it would have been very easy for him to be like, when everyone else was leaving, he'd be like, deuces, I'm gone.
Yeah. For sure.
Secondly, I think it's just Joe Milton's team to lose, and that's another thing I was wrong about. We both were like,
there's no way he can come in because there's such a hill for him to climb.
And we were wrong.
Because he's it. He's the one leading people. He's the one that's getting the reps. He's showing savviness. He's showing that he's played before, that he has that experience. Yeah. And I think that's something that I don't know if Hendon and Harrison are on the same page with that. I think. Well, I
just think for me, and Joe is a big kid, like everyone knows. He's a big boy. Actually, funny, like he wasn't as big as we expected him to be, but he's still big. Great size for a quarterback. I was waiting for this guy to be just throws a freaking rocket. And maybe he doesn't control it well. No, I was wrong. Like, that was not a good assumption to make. Like, he went just the first routes on air to start the practice. I don't think he had one drop from a guy. And that was kudos to him for putting it in good positions. Like, I think Harrison Bailey throws a good ball, but he had 2 overthrows.
Yeah.
And same thing with Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker would make a couple good throws, and then he would airmail a guy. And then
I saw a couple like behind their wide receiver.
And then there was another one that was like an out route, and he just sailed it into the sideline.
Yeah.
You can't play if you're not even making those routine throws, because in sports and then in this competition, the SEC and high level college football, like you don't have many opportunities. And so when it's a routine 3rd and 8, and you got to hit that guy at the sticks, like, we can't have you airmailing it.
No.
And that was always the issue with Maurer. Like, he was just this. He was up and down, up and down. He'd make one good play, and then the next time he might make the right decision, but he can't even get it to the guy because he throws it 7 yards over his head.
Yeah.
And so the thing about Milton is, and I told Kyler this at practice, like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like, he is probably going to be our starter, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the best, or doesn't mean he's going to finish the season, because I don't know when the lights click on how it's going to be up here. And that's what I said to you at practice. I went like this. I said, I don't know how he is up here.
Yeah.
I said, he looks great throwing the ball.
Because that's what it seemed like at Michigan.
Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like he throws a great ball. Not only does he throw it hard, like I said, I thought his accuracy was good. I thought he placed it well. I thought he had good touch on his deep balls. Like I said, obviously he's big. Obviously he's fast. Obviously he has it all, and it makes me nervous until I watch it. Like, why did it not work out at Michigan? And it could totally be Michigan's fault. And we all know that a change of scenery can definitely help people. My favorite team, Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill was in Miami. He had a lot of ups and downs. He's come and played for the Titans. He's been great these past 2 years.
Literally one of the best quarterbacks.
So it happens, and I hope that for Joe. But yeah, it seems like he's our starting quarterback, and it seems like he's going to get the first crack at it, meaning go out there and play. And if you play well, it's probably your team. Now, I was still impressed with Harrison Bailey, and Harrison Bailey's just a younger guy. I still think he is more athletic than people give him credit for, and I still think he's has a good touch on it. He's probably 3rd right now, and then it looks like Hendon Hooker's 2nd. And someone said that Joe Milton's faster than Hendon Hooker. I would be surprised that if they.
I don't think that's.
I don't think it's true. I think if they lined up, I think Hendon Hooker's leaving him.
Yeah, I do too.
And so, what happens if the offensive line plays like it did in that scrimmage, and these guys just got people in their laps, and Heupel says, you know what, like maybe we need to run more of a quarterback run type.
Maybe put Hendon in there.
Correct. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, Joe's team to lose. Hopefully, he goes out there and plays well. Obviously, he can run well, and he's a big kid.
Yeah.
And he needs that big body because he's probably going to be taking some shots. And you know, if he goes down, then it's probably going to be Hendon, and we'll probably run it more. And then we just hope that Hendon can keep his decision making and his actual throws pretty consistent.
Yeah.
You know.
And I saw Joe come over to the offensive line, the 1-0 line, and talk to them after like one of the team things, like, "Hey boys, we're gonna be all right. Like, it's gonna be okay." Like, he tried to bring everybody up, and it might not be much. Some guys might not even listen, but the fact that he's even doing it is a good sign.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it takes a while to get the trust of everyone on the team, especially since you're a transfer. You haven't been there long. You haven't gone through a lot of the stuff they've gone through. And, you know, that's that uphill battle we were talking about. But the fact that you're trying to do what a starting quarterback would do is good to see. Literally did it right in front of me. So, I think it's all I think that's what happened to him in Michigan was just like the mental breakdown of like, I can't get this right. So then nothing went right. Mm-hmm. Like, he's throwing a pick, he's fumbling a ball, and then he's just like, I can't do anything right. And his brain shuts him down from doing anything right anymore. And
that's how sports are.
Yeah.
A lot of sports are just confidence.
You gotta be mentally tough. Like, and that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm tired, work through it. It's, oh, I'm fucked up, I need to work through that. I need to be able to just get it out of my head and move on to the next thing, or understand why I messed up and learn from it. It's just, if you can't do that, there's no growth. You're going to stay in the same place. You're going to be stagnant. You're never going to be the starter or the best player, or, you know, win some awards, win some games. Like, just growth won't happen.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever went through it, but it's so funny that, and I can just use me because that's the best example I can give. And I know people listening and watching that played sports or whatever, they know how it is. But it's so funny that when you can have the same athlete. Yeah. This is Kyler Kerberson. This is who he is. But like, you're riding high and you're confident and you just pancaked a guy and you had a great game. Then you had a good practice, then you got another good. You're just riding high, bro.
Yeah.
But then you got Reed Bacon, and maybe I missed an open field tackle. And depending on how I, snap and clear, which I was not a good snap and clear. There's some guys, like, I think DBs are hilarious, that DBs can literally get beat, and then like the next play, they'll guard you, and it's an overthrow. They do nothing. Like, yeah, come on now. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, give me a break. But it's like, so how well do you snap and clear? How well do you move on to the next play? Because it's the same person. And if they got that confidence, it's fun. Like now I play golf. Obviously I'm not playing football anymore, but now you play golf. And I always joke that I can be I meet somebody new, and it's like either like, Reed, how are you at golf? I said, well, we'll find out today. I said, some days I come out here and you might think, oh, this guy's been playing his whole life, like not bad, like maybe played a little high school golf. And then other days they're like, what the did this guy just get his clubs 2 weeks ago? Like, dude just topped it off the first tee. Yeah. What do we got going on here? Yeah, this guy, I'm not playing 18 holes with this guy. He's going to slow me down. Yeah. So it's just, confidence is huge. Mental game is huge. All that stuff is so huge. And so for me, all I can judge is what I've seen. And if Joe Milton looks like he's got every tool in the box, and he's going to be it looks like he's going to be the starter. And once he goes out there, depending on how his play, and, for me, I'm not watching film. I'm not saying that, but as a fan, I'm like, well, okay, if he doesn't play great, I think we still have two pretty good options. Yeah. Now, I don't know what Heupel thinks. I don't know what Golish thinks,
That's why we kind of said before, like whoever wins, it's like you were impressive.
Mm-hmm.
If you're winning this job, that was an impressive
Yeah.
way to do it. So
Yeah. And the other thing is too is like it's funny. We're not taking shots at I do not consider myself a media person. Like I do this for fun. I do this with you.
Yeah.
I love ball. I love Tennessee. Like I do it for fun. Like we always say, we're not trying to break stories. We're not trying to get lame quotes from players. We're not trying to do this different stuff. But it's funny because I'm just a guy at my house, like maybe reading Twitter like everyone else is. But since I did get to go and I did get to watch practice and not just the first 5 or 10 minutes, once again, I'm not taking shots at those other people, but like now I get it. Now I get like why, like, okay, now I do feel confident because last night or 2 nights ago, I'm on Xbox, I'm talking to my guys, like, who do you think is going to start? I said, I don't know. I was like, I'm excited to go to practice and see. I said, everyone's talking good about Joe, but my persona of him was a big guy, big kid, strong arm. I didn't know how accurate he was going to be, and I don't know what he has up here. And I want to see him around the other guys. I still thought that Hendon or Bailey could have a chance.
Yeah.
And then you go and watch, and you watch the entire practice, and you just see different stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I think it probably is going to be him, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's,
it's eye-opening for sure to actually go to a practice and see that stuff work out.
Yeah.
And like we said, it is his job to lose as of this moment, but he can definitely lose it if something happens like in Michigan, like what he did at Michigan and just like fell apart.
Turnovers, indecisiveness.
Yeah, just like throwing a ball in bad places. But I think when we had Taylor Brown, who's the Western Kentucky recruiting coordinator and a friend of ours from Catholic, he said he was impressed by Joe.
Yeah, he loved Joe.
He loved Joe's film and like what he did, and it wasn't that Joe was a bad quarterback. It just like some of the mistakes were there.
That's the thing about recruiting and all this stuff. It's they look like Tarzan, play like Jane. You don't know until the lights come on, and so I didn't watch much Michigan last year. Like you know what I mean. So let's see. But I was very impressed with what I saw. That's the best way to put it. I was very impressed today with what I saw from him.
Yeah, because
because
we weren't seeing he's going to be our starter. Like it wasn't like in your brain going into the day.
Correct.
So then when you saw it and his ability and what he was doing, some of the throws he was making, some on the run, he has good mobility. He can run if he needs to. Like he was able to escape the pocket and get some yards.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey man, if you can stay ahead of the chains, like if we're averaging 4 yards a run, I'm happy.
Right. And for me, the biggest thing I was most impressed with was his touch and was his accuracy. Now, once again, it was practice. You made a great point during practice. We were watching these quarterbacks know they're not going to get hit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, so that changes the game big time, but still had good touch, still had good accuracy from what I could see. So we'll see what his decision-making is like when the game starts. I think I'm pretty much spent. I've just talked for everything. I don't even know if this is a good podcast or not. I mean, we just talked for 2 hours straight, offense, defense. We tried to regurgitate everything. We bounced all over the place. I mean, hell, this is the offensive one.
I'm just hoping people can get some information from this. Like something about the team that you didn't know before that can, tell you how you think these Vols are going to do.
Correct.
Because everyone's so worried about it.
Yeah.
It's such an unknown territory right now. If we can give you just like a little glimpse into what we're seeing and what they're doing out there at practice, that's what's important.
Correct. And we didn't have time to sit and collect our thoughts really besides the ride home. And hell, that I was more worried about ordering my smoothie from Nectar. And you were more worried about getting your
Nixon's.
Yeah, and so we were just like, get us inside. And so we didn't maybe sit and think, and maybe we think about other stuff later or, review our notes more and stuff. And we know it's not super professional, but we're just, like I said, we're trying to spit out as much information as what we saw, what we did. Overall, this is the offensive pod, so we were talking about the defense. On the defense pod, we talked about Heupel a good amount and stuff. Like, I still like all those coaches. I still like what I see from them. I just like Heupel. Like, he just feels like real. And I liked the things that he was preaching, like the day after practice when he called everyone up. I liked how he said, like, guys, like, there's going to be ups and downs. It's how do you handle adversity? during the game. And it's so true. It's like there's going to be good plays, bad plays. Like, how do you handle, how do you respond? And he wasn't yelling this. I don't feel like he was like, like making it all about him or just like, I felt like he was just like trying to say what was important.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to keep working hard. We know it's basically almost middle of camp. We know it sucks. We know it's hot. It's like, so I just felt good about everything I saw. And ultimately, how's this team going to do? I still say that you better go out and handle business against Bowling Green. And I wouldn't say that if it wasn't for Vegas putting us up 30, a 33-point favorite. I trust Vegas a lot. Hell, they hadn't put that. Vegas could have put out we're only better by 17 points, and I'd been like, well, okay. Like I don't really know.
No.
But since they did that, I'm like, let's go handle business against Bowling Green. And the biggest test of the year, like I've always said, like is Pitt, and that's where I'm going to know. Do I need to worry about the D-line a little bit? Do I need to worry about these linebackers a lot? But today, like, I'm still happy with how the program's going. I still don't think it's going to be a great year, but that's fine. Like, you got to start and build pieces and see how we go.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I thought everyone was working hard. I love the camaraderie of the players. Like, I'm still kind of mind blown by that. Like, that there wasn't more fights. That offense and defensive guy were going up against each other as hard as can be, and then after they were slapping each other on the butt or the helmet and going to do that. I love that. Yeah. That's awesome. Because it's not me, but that's awesome that they can do that.
Yeah.
Mature.
And I mean, if we want to talk about a turnaround from spring practice, like there was a fight when we were at that spring practice. So it's like they're learning how to practice the right way moving forward. So it's good. It's good to see. Maybe they're like starting to turn the leaf of realizing that's not your enemy, because that is a hard thing to do. We talked about before, like being an offensive player going against defensive players all the time, just being like, screw that guy. But it's like, oh wait, he's actually your teammate. So
it's also the same way in your own position group, because you're competing for that starting time. So
yeah.
Well, we hoped everyone liked it. I'm going to listen back to this, and I don't know if it's going to be good or garbage or what.
It's going to be great.
I enjoyed our day.
Yeah, I had a great day. Get time out in the sun. Get to watch practice, sweat my butt off.
Hang out. Do
a couple pods.
So we'll see how it goes, and then.
Yeah, but thank you guys for watching and listening. All podcast platforms on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Kyler Kerberson, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at rbacon26 on Twitter. And then we have Believe in Tennessee on Twitter also. So follow us there. Like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, and let us know how we're doing. Contact us, believeintennessee.football@gmail.com. DM us on Twitter. Write stuff in the comments. Got to get that comment section going, man. That's the algorithm for YouTube.
Before you say go Vols, and as always go Vols, yes. I do want to say we really, really, really appreciate every comment,
yes,
every like, even if kudos to the people who corrected us on how to say names correctly. Like, thank you for that. Like, we take all, criticism and constructive criticism, but it's, we're not trying to be the next Joe Rogans here, but we enjoy what we're doing, and we really appreciate that, you guys at least follow us. And stuff.
And I try and go on the YouTube and respond to as many of the comments as possible. That is me responding. So if you feel like you want to ask me any other questions, I love it. Any critiques, I love it. I got thick skin, so so just really appreciate you guys, and as always, go Vols.